Okay, so welcome to New York's Divine Channel. You can have it all. We are discussing a menopause release today. And the first question I have for you is exactly what about menopause do you want to release? And I know that's a hilarious question for some of you because any of you that are going through premenopause, perimenopause, or menopause itself are dealing with the various different types of symptoms of whether you are uh, having nighttime sleeping problems, whether you're having hot sweats, hot flashes, depression, anxiety, joint pain, mood swings, gaining weight, the midriff section, the feeling of hopelessness and despair with no real definition or reasoning behind it as to why, and so much more. I know this is supposed to be a fun show, and it will be fun because I'm going to let you know something miraculous that I have found out about menopause now that I have been on the other side of it for, well, I know there's different determining stepping stones as far as on the other side of it, but haven't had a menstrual cycle now for 3 years. And being able to truly do some self introspection as to what the journey looked like for me personally, and then for the various different clients that I have worked with over the years, being in private practice for many years, being a business owner and taking care of clients for 37 years, and then opening up my private practice back in 2015, where I intentionally started charging for my healing work. And prior to that, I was doing the healing work for my clients while doing all the other different things that I offered with wardrobing and skincare, cosmetics, and image consulting and aging assessments. We started right out back 37 years ago doing aging assessments as far as being able to age gracefully, to prevent premature aging, to prevent the symptoms of aging, and all of that. I began studying about it in my teens. I wasn't even 20 years old yet. And I had already studied a whole bunch about it because I was going into the anti-aging business and began to be one of the number one dealers worldwide globally for a anti-aging skincare and cosmetic company. I was recognized on stages by the time I was 25 years old as being a guru, which I think is hilarious because how do you be a guru when you're 25 years old about anything, actually? But I was doing very well. There was nothing that I wasn't going to read or attend a workshop or a seminar. I traveled nationwide to various different parts of the country for conferences and training every quarter. So every 4 months, I'm sorry, every 3 months, I was in a different part of the country starting by the time I was 19 years old, and needed to learn everything I could possibly learn about health and wellness and aging. So, probably something that many of you don't know about me who have been tuning into my show for almost 2 years now. In fact, I think we started this TV show. I thought it was in October. Somehow I earmarked October of 2022 as the beginning of my TV show, but actually it started in August. So we have now hit our 2 year. I think I kind of like was practicing for a few months. And then when I decided, okay, I'm getting the hang of this, I launched it in October, and immediately my business doubled and has continued to do so ever since. So this is a global show. It goes out to 195 nations worldwide on Roku. If you hit your Roku now, you can go into the Win-Win Women Network. And then inside of there are many channels inside of the Win-Win Women Network. And they have me positioned inside of the Faith and Inspiration channel inside of the Win-Win Women Network. It's also on Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, and a whole bunch of cable stations. So if you are watching this show right now and you came in for the menopause release, we are setting you up for that. I want you to get your notebooks and your pen out. I'm going to have you taking some notes. And for those of you who decide, geez, I just want way more of this, then you're going to come to my 2-day retreat. And there's 2 different dates. We have a lot of people signed up for it already. It's called Become a Powerhouse, and it's in October as well as I believe in December. I will give you the link to the information if you text message me or email me. So you can email me at Camille@CamilleConti.com. You can Google CamilleConti.com and see the website and get the spelling of my name. And then you can also text message me if you're in the US and you want to text. Or you can text from out of the country too. 716-603-1767, 716-603-1767. It's Become a Powerhouse, and it's a 2-day retreat where we are going to be releasing ancestral lineage, blockages that we've been carrying since the day we were born, that we acquired from not only our birth mother, but also any adopted mothers, fathers, guardians, birth parents, and non-birth parents alike, as well as guardians and caretakers. Could have even taken on something from a grandmother who started taking care of you at the age of 14. We take on a lot of things from our caretakers. And then as we become the caretaker and hit whatever age, magical age that is. I know some people, I've met them and they became their own caretaker by the time they were 15 years old. I've met people who've gotten kicked out of their house and they weren't even 18 years old yet, and they were on their own. And so that's the moment that you became your own caretaker, right? And so you're carrying whatever it is that you took on without knowing it, because we don't know that we're taking things on. And it's also part of the way that the family trees evolve. So our ancestral lineage evolves because each generation is supposed to figure out a little bit more of the ascension process, the enlightenment process. And then with that, you evolve to a higher level. So then the hopes is, and I feel like I see a lot of it, our children, if you're having children, end up doing even better than we did, because we're able to teach them from our successes as well as our failures. And also they're picking up a little bit less than what we did because we've healed some of it, or a lot of it, depending. So I know a lot of people who are super serious right now about clearing, healing, releasing, and being able to ascend and hit levels of enlightenment and ascension that no one in their family has ever achieved. And if you're that person, then you're the lighthouse of your family. You're the one that came in with the soul contract to do that. You might even be considered the black sheep of the family, where everybody says that you're not whatever. And you may not be the one that, you might be the one that doesn't really fit in. You don't feel like you fit in, or you don't fit in, whatever the case is. And that is because part of your soul mission is to heal the family tree. And the cool thing is that as you release and shed the layers, you shed it for the family that's going to come after you, children, grandchildren, great grandchildren, but also for the family that came before you. We're healing our ancestors. And when I learned that, I was so excited. So today, when we do the menopause release, you're also helping heal the womb and the reproductive organs and the life of all the women, the feminine energy, the divine feminine energy in all of your family tree, from before and after you, which is absolutely thrilling and exciting. Because, I always say that if we're going to be here on planet Earth, we might as well get the biggest bang for our effort. Because it is a lot of effort to carry around this human body, and especially during premenopause, menopause, perimenopause, all the different menopauses. It's a lot of work and effort, right? So we want to get the hugest outcome and have fun doing it. Figure out how to have fun. Take life a little bit lighter. Stop taking it so seriously. I figured out that being so serious was actually half my problem. So I'm passing that on to you, because some of you are like, oh yeah, that's definitely my problem too, being too serious. So step one, when you are going to take some notes for menopause release is stop taking it so seriously. Stop taking life so seriously. Stop beating yourself up. Stop critiquing yourself. Stop giving yourself a report card. Many of you are giving yourself an F on your report card every day. You don't even know it. But now that I'm saying it, you're like, oh my God, I actually do have it's not a hard copy report card. It's not even a digital report card. You're probably not even typing it. And some of you are. And you're like, oh my God, I'm even worse. I'm typing a report card for myself. I'm putting it in my journal and I'm saying how badly I'm doing and I'm judging myself. Okay, throw it out. Throw out any report cards that are definitely handwritten or digitally typed. And definitely, more importantly, throw out the one that's in your head. Okay. Because if you keep that report card of if you're doing well or if you're not, or look, oh my God, another tick against me, I failed again, then you're setting yourself up for failure. So throw it out. No report cards. I feel like that song, it was like my father's favorite song before he passed. I remember asking him, why is this your favorite song? That the song that is like, we don't need no education, the brick wall. And because he was a big proponent of education. But what I think he was trying to say, and the song always comes on when he's trying to make his presence known when I'm driving down the road. And it came on twice while I was driving my son to law school. And he was like, I'm taking my grandson, we're going to law school together. And my son and I were cracking up because it just kept coming through. And I was like on a Spotify channel where it shouldn't have been able to get through, but that's how our angels and guides and our ancestors from heaven are. And I remember 10 days before my dad passed, he told me, Camille, I love you, but that guy, my grandson, he's my favorite. Don't forget it. And I always tell my son that. I'm like, Grandpa's counting on you. He would have loved to have been able to go to law school. You're the first generation that's capable of being able to do that, both financially and intelligence wise. So no pressure on you. But what is important is once you decide to not take it so seriously and throw out the report card, now you have a chance to release all this stuff. Okay, so that's number one. Now, number two, more importantly, and I want you to think about this for a minute as I say it. Menopause is the most serious divine feminine healing that we as women that were born with female organs in our body will ever have the opportunity and the sacred journey to experience. It is the time when we not only shed this lifetime, but other lifetimes of the not being good enough, not being worthy, the self-hate that we acquire from various different experiences. And we leave that behind and we morphous. It's like the caterpillar comes out of the cocoon during your menopause into the beautiful butterfly at the end of it. And in the last 3 years since I've been out of the menstrual cycle have been the very best years of my entire life. And by the way, I've really worked hard at being a happy, healthy, successful woman. I literally hit the books by the time I was 18 on how to do it because I was watching my mother and her sister, my aunt, not doing a very good job of it at all. And I was scared to death to be failing that badly at it. So I was like, I got to figure this out. So every kind of seminar, workshop, and book and study and class and course, I took women's biology during college. Even though I was taking psychology and communication, I made sure to get a woman's biology class in there. So if you're like me, and I think many of you are, you have studied and read as much as you possibly can fit in order to become the healthiest, happiest woman possible, right? And with all that said, I'm going to tell you that you can use your premenopause, your menopause, your perimenopause as a tool for success or a tool for failure. It's your choice. Now, I will tell you that the first half of it, I was using it as a tool for failure. And I was having woe is me pity parties. I was madder than hell, especially about the new weight gain around my waist, that everything that I used to do was not working anymore, no matter what. And I was doing extra stuff more than what I had done before. In fact, I even went into it like ready to go. Like I knew, okay, you're going to beat it. You're going to be riding your bike uphill by the time you hit menopause so that you can be one of those people who's in her, mid 50s looking like she never ever had menopause hit her. You see some of those people and they're like, wait, they're my age. How are they looking like that? What did they do? And we'll discuss that on a different day because this is the release topic. We only have a half an hour for the recorded show and another half an hour to discuss it on our interactive time where we turn the recorder off today. And I'm probably getting close to it. And I have my agenda and my checkpoints of what has to be given to you today, not only from myself as a woman, but from divine who's channeling through me as well. It's like a co-creation when I'm speaking because we're co-creating. Divine and I are saying, okay, what can Camille bring to the table, and have divine speak through her as well. And so that's how the channeling works. And the most important thing to recognize is it's going to be whether you decide to take advantage of all the opportunities or if you decide to be a sourpuss, a crybaby, and a whiner for the entire time through. So halfway through my 10 years, because it was like a decade basically of symptoms. And I didn't really know it for the first few years. I didn't even know that's what was happening to me. I was just like thinking that my life was going downhill fast. And I had no clue really what was going on until a woman said to me, oh, no, 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 no. Cause I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm bipolar now. I don't know how that happens. I thought symptoms would show sooner if that. And she's like, oh, no, no, no. This is premenopause. You need to start doing some different things to help your symptoms. And she started giving me a tool chest. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know, because the books that are out there don't always have a lot of information, and you don't realize that that's part of the symptoms, like the mood swings and the depression, the anxiety, and like the crazy blood sugar changes. And you're like, oh my God, what do I have? Diabetes? One day I was like, okay, I think I have schizophrenia, bipolar, diabetes, fibromyalgia, and I'm like, now that I've done all my Google, I have everything. And it was like, no, you have menopause. It's one thing with all these lovely symptoms. And so, why do I say that this is the most sacred, most divine, most incredible opportunity? And now I can actually say, and you're going to be putting this down for number 2, menopause is your sacred opportunity to come to full 100% self-love. It's a fast track. It may or may not last you 10 years. Like me, you're not going to be exactly like me, and I'm not exactly like you. Some women say they don't have any symptoms, and I am very happy for them, and maybe a little jealous too, but that they didn't have to go through the same thing. And maybe they went through that in another lifetime, or maybe they went through it in another part of this life. But I feel that the menopause is a big part of us clearing out our self-hate and stepping into true love, and not just compassion, by the way, because we can have compassion for ourselves and still not have love for ourselves, because I've not only experienced it personally myself, but I've seen it in many other women that I know closely. for various reasons, whether they're family, friends, colleagues, or clients or students. Like I have a lot of clients that have been telling me their stories since I started in practice. And I started my own business when I was 18 years old. So I've been taking care of people for many, many years. And so there's a difference between having compassion for yourself and truly loving and embracing yourself. And I remember when I went on that journey, when I recognized that the biggest thing for me, the biggest thing between me and having a successful life in my definition, because we all have our own definition of what success is, right? Was that I had to have a huger amount of self-love and I had to get there somehow. And I do want you to know that nothing was really working until menopause came along. And maybe for me, I had to have all that because that was the thing I had to go through to find my self-love. But I do feel like others figure it out and don't have to go through it. So please don't sign up like, okay, I want severe menopause so that I can have awesome self-love. No, your journey may not have to be that. You might have gone through this journey of self-love back when you were 10 years old until you were 20 years old. Or maybe you went through it from your 20s to your 30s. Maybe you went through it from being 1 year old till 10 years old. Who knows? And maybe it wasn't even 10 years for you. Maybe it was 10 seconds because we're all different souls. We all have a different soul journey. We've had different amounts of lifetimes, if there's such a thing. And I know that's still open for debate, and I'm good with that. But please don't say, oh, well, I think I should have to work hard at this, so I'll just sign up for a horrible menopause. No way. Totally call out to divine and to your own higher self and talk to your inner self and say, thank you for me being able to achieve full, deep, profound self-love easily and quickly. And so it is. And let's do that now again, officially. Put your hands over your heart. Thank you. And just say your name. I'm going to say Camille. You're going to say your own name. Thank you, Camille. Put it on your brain. Thank you, Camille. And then put it on your heart for easily achieving deep and profound, sustainable self-love every day in every way, in all moments. And so it is. Amen and amen and amen. And thank you and thank you and thank you. Just give yourself a hug. Because I'm going to share with you, as you come out of that nice, mini, and effective self-hypnosis, I'm going to share with you that it's kind of interesting. But after I was halfway through menopause and I decided to stop fighting and crying and hating myself and hating the world and hating God for sure. Like, God, why did you make such a clunker for a woman's body that does all this crazy stuff? And when I stopped fighting the process and the journey and I decided to surrender to it, that's when it got easier. And that's when it cleared much more quickly. I just went with it instead of being like, and that kind of personality doesn't get us anywhere, right? But we certainly can feel like that when a whole bunch of things are going crazy and different than they used to, because I didn't experience a lot of those things prior to that. So I was like, what the heck? So some of you are feeling that way and you're like, well, I don't know, I'm not old enough for it, but I'm having that happen now. Well, you know what? That's great. You might be getting it over with early. And kudos to you. And I would love for you to let me know 10 years from now or 5 or 20 that, Camille, because of that TV show and that training you gave us, I didn't actually have much symptoms. And maybe that knowingness of going into deep, profound love is what helped me. And maybe not. We'll never know for sure, right? But I'm the kind of person, and I think you probably are too, if you're tuning into the show and you're still watching, because we're almost 30 minutes in and you're still listening. So you're probably the kind of person like me that you want to turn over every stone and not miss anything, find all the golden nuggets, find the easier path, the more simple, the more effective, as long as it's effective. I don't want it to be quicker if it's not going to give me the full results, but I would love it to be both quick and full results. And I do have to say that your mindset is going to be everything. So if you're in the middle of it now, click, change your mindset right now, surrender. If you're not there yet, change your mindset right now and say, it's going to be easy and simple for me because I'm just going to love myself unconditionally. I'm not only going to have compassion and kindness for myself, I'm actually going to love myself. So as I'm closing up this TV show, I want to tell you, one day I had to just throw out the scale. I was crying and crying and crying. I couldn't take it anymore as my weight was going up, up, and my waist was going wider, wider. I mean, I used to be a size 4 and a 6 when I was really, really in my working out prime, well before premenopause, right? Then you're still doing all that stuff and you're like, what the heck? Because you now don't have the energy. And you're like, oh my God, I don't even have the energy. I used to be able to be the ever ready bunny. And now, like, where is that energy? How do I get that energy back so that I can go and ride my bike and do my treadmill and do my working out at the gym? Because it was like so easy before menopause. Like the energy was always there and the motivation was there, the mental capacity was there, and then it was like everything was not there. And I think it was also because I had a bad attitude about it. I do believe that when I did surrender, when I had that talk with that friend and I said, okay, fine, I'm just going to go with it. Because I was told there are jewels to get of healing during this time. And I'm like, jewels for healing? All right, sign me up for that. I'm going to get some good stuff out of this process, and that it's not going to last forever. It's going to clear out. Once you get past it, you're going to be like, you're going to have more energy than you ever had before, which is true. I have more energy than I had before menopause. I also don't have to sleep in as late. Now I can actually wake up early and have tons of energy. So I'm like, oh, there are some really huge positives to this. So I want to give you some excitement for, anybody who does end up having to go through the symptoms. Just I did not know self hypnosis during most of it. I found hypnosis in the middle of it. And that's because when I was told I had to change my attitude, I'm like, well, I need some freaking help with that. So I found the hypnosis to be able to help me. Those of you who have already found it because you're taking my courses, you're watching my shows, you're in my academy, and you're getting certified with neurolinguistics programming, the advanced form of hypnosis, waking talking psychotherapy, or you have just taken the certification for hypnosis training that we had 3 weekends ago in New York. And now it's online and you can purchase the course from us directly and be able to take it at home online and then join us in our practitioner residency. Those of you who are already participating, you have a great opportunity to potentially ride this wave way easier and way better. I can't make any guarantees or promises, and I'm also not a medical doctor to be able to make any medical claims. However, geez, if I was in your position, I would be like, awesome, I've got tools, because when they were finally handed to me at the halfway point, because I went out and asked for them and stopped crying and feeling sorry for myself, I started getting better really rapidly, really quickly. So I will say this. It's really kind of cool because although I had to at one time throw out the scale and I absolutely thought my life was over because I wasn't like nice and thin anymore and I didn't look like a runway model anymore the way I used to. I mean, I feel very happy with how I look now, which is kind of incredibly interesting. Because if you would have talked to me back before I switched my attitude, I thought my whole life was over because I was brainwashed by society, by my dad, by men, the man I was married to at one time, and many others, that if I didn't have that little teeny waist and that very thin tummy area, then I was basically nothing, right? So I had a lot of programming that I had to reprogram, I had to release, I had to clear out. And I'm really excited because when I look in the mirror, I really like how I look now. And it's hilarious to me how much I thought I was a complete clunker well before I changed my whole attitude and found self-love. And I realized that my self-love was too wrapped around that. And that, if your self-love is wrapped around one particular thing too much, look how easily you could take a hit and take a blow. I'm so happy now that I feel untouchable because it's like, yeah, well, I can love myself even if my waist isn't what it used to be. And I can love myself even if this isn't what I wanted it to be, or this isn't what I thought it could be or should be. And to me, that is worth everything. Gaining that absolute, that's a personal power, a personal feminine power that is priceless. So I invite you to dive into your feminine experience with great courage, excitement, and a positive attitude and mindset, and make it great. And I invite you to our next TV show that is coming up in a few weeks on past lives discovery. So we are going to be meeting up again, and I don't have the date written down because I should, but we've got it coming up. I texted it to all of you, so you've got it in your text. Here it is, August 29th. So that is next Thursday, actually. And we are doing past lives discoveries. Past life discoveries. So tune in next Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then reach out to me at Camille@CamilleConti.com if you'd like to join us for any of our courses, especially the 2-day retreat healing immersion coming up in October and December. You can get the dates from me by emailing me or texting me at 716-603-1767. For more information, go to CamilleConti.com. All right. So now we're getting ready to join the interactive room.